You have become a very prominent board member in Chile and also risen to become a board member in a large global corporation such as Barrick. And at the same time, you were a minister, a partner in a very important law firm. So how did this all come about?
Certainly, your question is not an easy one. But looking back to my career and to my life, I would say that three critical factors or elements help define my career. First, I should say that one of the few women in Chile in my generation that decide to pursue with a professional career. And this was not just my doing, I think it was mainly my father's doing, who always encouraged me and my sister to pursue a professional career. And another person that encouraged me a lot in this regard was one of my school teachers. She always kept telling me, go, 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 work hard, try to make a change, and don't give up. Secondly, when I was just fresh out of law school, Chile changed its economic model, as you know, and we incorporate private investors to develop economic activities that back then were just performed by the state. I had the opportunity to be deeply involved in the design and development of a PPT policy that led us to develop, the infrastructure in our country, high roads, hospital, airports, through public investment. I also, this PPT policy incorporate private investment to the management of water resources. And from that experience, certainly I acquired a great deal of know-how, but I also learned from really extraordinary people such as Sebastián Piñera and Ricardo Lagos, former Chilean president, the importance of or the value to compromise in order to achieve great goals. Third, and this is really precious to me, I have both the privilege and the responsibility to lead the reconstruction of my country after the 2010 earthquake, which was very, very tough and record-breaking. And my takeaway from that is tremendous. It's tremendous because I learned, to really appreciate the value of work team. I also understand how the public service work out, and above all, I learned to be humble. I learned to hear everyone's voice, because definitely without my team support, without the politicians' support, and without everybody's support, I would not able to achieve this task. After all of that, I have became a completely different person, a completely different professional.
How difficult was it to be a woman in that journey?
It wasn't easy because at that time, it was expected for women to be, good mother, good housewife, good, professional. So I have to learn two things important for me. First, that I don't have to do it all well. Second, I have to learn to delegate and prioritize. And I also I was lucky enough, to always have some men's support. I have at least 4 important men mentors that help me and teach me, and above all, always told me to keep going.
So if you would have to give advice to a young female today trying to rise up on the ranks of an organization, given your own experience, what kind of advice would you give her?
First, prepare yourself. It's important to learn as much as possible about, the company strategy, core business, dynamics. But in this regard, I would like to share a piece of advice that I received when I first stepped in a board. One of my mentors told me, take your time observing and understanding the board's dynamics, because not all of them have the same. And ask as many questions as you want. You have to ask, because that's the way to understand what is going on with the company, and that's the way to understand what you should do in the board. And he also told me, express your opinion, contribute with your experience, to create value for the board, but always do it in a humble way.